Hi, here goes our practice today. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of water sport. If I were given the opportunity to choose one, I would definitely choose the scuba diving. I have been snorkeling for quite a few months, and I'm very fascinated with the underwater species, and I want to go deeper about them. So I think scuba diving would be an ideal choice for me to explore the underwater in a deeper level. But as far as I know, it is kind of a risky activity. However, it might give me the interest and fulfill my curiosity, as it will provide me with the myriad of underwater creatures and wildlife I could not see in the land. So as far as I know, there are a lot of things I should get prepared before I can go snorkeling. As you know, the complicated and intricate equipment that needs a very long time period for us to learn how to use it. For example, the mask, the snorkeling oxygen tanks, and that. But I think the training would need us for about a few days, if no, for weeks, for us to get the adequate training. And I think if we get enough time for preparation and get sufficient training, we will be totally safe from this underwater activity. However, some television documentary I learned from said that this activity is a bit risky, because we know that the sudden change in underwater as we came from the depths might have an adverse effect on our human body. But it is worth trying if we get enough preparation, because in the snorkeling activity we can see a myriad of underwater creatures, and also I think the underwater scenery that I've never seen in the land would take my breath away, and that is an activity that everyone should have a go at. Hi, so today we are going to discuss what's the disadvantages in living the big cities. So I think the most prominent advantage to live in a city is living in a big city means more opportunities compared to other small cities or the suburban areas. As we know, most of the multinational companies tend to open their company in the big cities, so the people living in the big cities are more likely to get employed in those big cities. And also, if someone have children, they will consider place their children in a better school education area, and most big cities have good education about college, and some prominent universities are most likely to be located there. So now we're gonna discuss what's the disadvantages of living in a big city. So the most adverse effect in living in a city will be the transportation congestion. Most people lived in the big city who tend to own their cars, which in turn makes the roads more occupied by the vehicles. And as some streets are less planning or less have their transportation in mind, they build their street relatively narrow, so the street cannot convey the desired vehicles as the local residents required, which will contribute to the factor so why there are so much built-up vehicles that are congested in the streets, which will take a lot of time for the city residents to consume their time in their commute.